I think one of the most powerful charitable work that we do is with the Shoebox scheme with the Rotarians, which is an opportunity for young people to really consider others less fortunate than themselves. And every year we do a presentation in Assembly where they get to see the impact of the shoeboxes from the young people from the previous year. And I think to see those young people receiving a present, the only gift they're going to get, and to see the look in that young person's face has a massive impact on young people. We produce hundreds of boxes every year, and the students love the programme. We wouldn't be able to get boxes to Albania or to the various countries that we send them to. We also send sixth formers out to help them load all the boxes they've collected from the local area, so they're helping in another way as well.
The money donated to us by the Rotary is crucial in enabling the Hampshire and Isle of Wight Air Ambulance charity to continue to be operational. We have to raise £85,000 each month to continue operating this service, and without donations from wonderful groups like Rotary, this would not be possible.
There are two aspects of what we can do with the helicopter. The first really is delivering a medical service very quickly. So we can cover from here, although we're in the top left-hand corner of Hampshire, we can reach the south of the Isle of Wight in 20 minutes. If we're in the middle of Hampshire, we can get anywhere in the county in 11 minutes. So speed is one of the key things. But what we know now, more importantly, is who you deliver to an accident or a critical event, because you have to have a very high level of training and a good team to really provide a medical intervention which is life-saving. What we now know from Europe, from some work in Holland, is that you can actually save 3 times as many people's lives if you have a medical team than if you just have an ambulance response. And so what we're trying to do here is provide that team.
Well, the project is part of a charity which was called Wessex Heartbeat. The particular project we're going to talk about was Rotary Heartbeat House. Back in 1991, I was fortunate enough to be given the job, after a lifetime in the civil service, of setting up this charity. And as part of the objectives, one of the aspects was to try and provide a house. Now, the charity supports the Wessex Regional Cardiac Centre based in Southampton, and people come to that centre from all over the Wessex area and beyond. And the families and the parents of the children were having to sleep in guest houses and sometimes on the floor in camp beds, whilst their loved ones were having sometimes life-threatening surgery. So the plan was conceived to build a house. In 1994, Rotary Heartbeat House was finished. We didn't know who to get to come and open it, so we asked Rory Bremner, so we had everybody that we could possibly want. And the house then became home in those days to about 14 people every night, free of charge, all staying in a house that bears the name of Rotary.
I live in Dorchester and I couldn't have travelled every day to see him, so this is marvellous that we've got this Heartbeat House, and it's a benefit to the patients as well, because we can go across more often and see them and stay with them, you know, after the operation.
It's so comfortable, you know, and it's more comfortable than a hotel, I would say.
Being in Heartbeat House with all the other people that are in the same boat, we can we talk about all our ups and our downs, you know, and it is a big help. It really is.
It's been a voyage that's honoured a Hampshire hero and given a new generation a taste of the adventure he experienced. Exactly 40 years after South Sea greengrocer Alec Rose completed his solo sail around the world, his boat Lively Lady arrived back in Portsmouth after a second world trip. On board, the yachtsmen and youngsters inspired by his legacy. Blown home by a fresh following wind.
Rotary have been there when we need them, or when we needed them. But more importantly, they've actually worked with the young adults. I mean, when we've identified the young adults are at a certain point of their life but need to mix more socially at a higher age level, they've been totally 100% behind the after-dinner speaking programme we put together, and we couldn't ask more. In the world, they're there when you really, really need them. We've had some wonderful parties en route, but we never needed Rotary for the financial side. It was always for the working side, to encourage these young adults to work, at a greater level than even they knew they could do.
The reason I got the last leg was because I'm the one that's changed the most out of everyone else. And it's been a great experience, and I'll do it again happily.
When you say change the most, I mean, what were you in trouble for?
Yeah, I got homeschooled. I got kicked out of school because I was being bullied and stuff. And like, Mum took me out, and it's like I didn't have nothing. I didn't have any GCSE, any grades or anything. But now I've got a job. I've gained the most from this experience.
They've gone from kids to young adults. They now know right from wrong. They now know that there's good and bad in the world. They now know that there's poverty. We've taken them to some pretty poverty-stricken countries, which was always part of the project, and to highlight to them that when they think their life's tough, it really isn't tough compared to some people.
Well, the Young Chef competition from my school is very important because it allows us to showcase the school, and I feel that is just a symbol of the really good work that Rotary actually does in supporting the community. They do so much good work to support young people.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to this evening's Youth Speaks competition.
They like competing, and I think young people do like competing these days.
Now, I'm sure you'll agree that Tom has brought to our attention a side of the argument rarely heard.
It builds their confidence and their public speaking ability. It's also a great chance to go and compete against other schools, which they often do in sport and science, but not in English.
Georgina Dustin will showcase her aptitude for public speaking in a concise vote of thanks. As our school sports ambassador and a county athlete, her insight into the pending Olympic Games greatly aided our research.
They like the opportunity to express an issue and also to show that young people aren't demons when they're often demonised in the media.
I think it helps the development of the pupils in that they are becoming sort of ambassadors for Perrin's school, improving the sort of reputation of the school in the wider community.
I think it's brilliant that Rotary have sponsored so many young people to take part in the Ryler Weekend and have done so for a number of years.
I benefit from the weekend and gain new leadership skills through the fact that to step back and I've let other people show their strengths and weaknesses.
I've learnt a lot about how to communicate with people within a team, how to motivate them towards a goal. I learnt that Rotary have done a lot to help stop the spread of polio in underdeveloped countries and do a lot of work with young people to help build a better future.
Rotary isn't all about old men sitting down having lunch.